Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today's video I'm here to give you 5 potential problems which Luton might have to face in this upcoming January transfer window. It's going to be such an important window for Luton and we kind of have to get it right if we're going to have, I guess, an okay season. I can't see us having a great season after the poor start which we've had to this current one. But there's a chance that we can at least improve it in this upcoming window and make sure that we don't get another relegation. We don't want back-to-back relegations. I don't like saying that, but until we are clear from those relegation places, it's going to be on the back of some of our minds. So we need to make sure we get it right in this upcoming window. But before I tell you those 5 problems which I think Luton are going to have to face, please drop a like on today's video. Comment below what problems you think Luton are going to have to face and let me know how you will resolve those issues. Subscribe if you are new, and yeah, here is the first thing which I believe could be a problem for Luton, and that is the future of our manager. Now, if we're going to be signing players, those players want to know what manager they're going to be playing under. Now, if Edwards is going to remain our manager, then great. They probably know that they're going to be playing under Rob Edwards. But what we don't want to do is sign players on a permanent deal, which is already a tough ask, and we sack Edwards, what, a month after the January transfer window? That's something which I don't think we should do. If we're going to be signing players, then at least allow Edwards to, manage those players which we bring in the January window. But on the flip side, if we were to get rid of Edwards now or in the next upcoming weeks, then we actually realistically need to have a manager in before the January window arrives, because players want to know who they're going to be playing under. So if we're going to be managerless in January, we need to be quick in hiring a new manager, because he needs the opportunity to assess the squad and then bring in the players he wants to bring in that January window. It's not fair on a new boss to come halfway through or not have enough time prior to assess his team. So that is a situation which Luton really need to address. And if I'm being honest, Edwards, I don't think he's got long. I really don't. If things continue the way they are, I don't think he has long. And these next 2 home games are going to be extremely important to him. Moving on to problem number 2. I've already kind of mentioned it, but the pressure from having a poor January window and summer window from this year is going to cause a few problems and could, cause a few mistakes in this upcoming January window. We've got to get it right. The backlash from not getting more players in that January window while we were in the Premier League came back to hurt us. I think it was a massive mistake that Luton didn't hire didn't sign more players in that January window. Massive mistake, and I feel like because we didn't, we could have gave it a proper, real good go in the Premier League, but we got relegated for me on the basis of that we didn't bring in enough bodies in January. And then the summer, I feel like a lot of expectation was that Luton would bring in a lot of players through the door, or basically sign up a lot of players on with a high transfer fee, and we kind of didn't do it, did we? And the players were brought in, let's be honest, they haven't, smashed our expectations. I don't think there's been many good performances from the new players. So it's been, looking at it now on reflection, 2 very poor windows. So this window that's coming up, we have got to get it right. And if we don't get it right, there's going to be even more pressure on the next window, which will be the summer next year, and the pressure will just keep getting more and more, and it will grow until we get a proper window in, and a successful window. And it's quite mad to say, because Luton over the years have had great windows. That's why we've had the success. But because we've had the poor windows, you can see the decline in our performances and in our league position as well. So transfer are so important. If you get it right, you're successful. If you don't, you decline. And right now, Luton are declining on the basis of not having a good window. Moving on to problem number 3. Will players want to sign for an underperforming team? Now, I'm being honest, I don't think we're going to get you know, the best player at Stoke to come to Luton. I can't see that happening. And if I'm looking at the players which we're going to try and sign, it's going to be difficult. It always is in January. So I feel like in this January window, we're probably going to be looking at players that are squad players for their teams, or not getting any minutes, or potentially loan signings. And we're hoping those players improve us. I actually think it would be better if Luton actually just buy players overseas rather than looking in England, because I feel like a lot of clubs will be reluctant to actually give us their players. Now, the board said that they learned a lot from the summer window, how agents were, you know, I say probably overcharging Luton on their fees and how much their players should be earning. And I think it put us off, and we learnt a few lessons. So hopefully the lessons which we've learnt in 2024, we don't repeat in 2025, and we have a plan B or a plan C in getting over that, because we're not always going to get our top targets. So we need to find another way of still being able to fill a gap within the team, while also, you know, applying our own transfer strategy. So we need to get it right this window. But will underperforming players come to us? And I also feel like as well, if we're looking at, you know, top players in League One, I feel like they would be inclined to come and join us because they want to step up to the Championship. And also, if we're looking at players that are not earning as much money at their current clubs, we might be able to give them an increase in salary. And in the end of the day, like, money does talk. We don't want to believe that, but it actually does. And players will join clubs for higher fees. It always happens, and it always will. So, it's just going to be a real challenge in getting players to sign for an underperforming team. The fourth problem which Luton are going to face is getting rid of underperforming players. Now, as you guys know, you can have a squad of 25 players. And right now, we have a squad of 25. We've obviously got Fanny, who's joining us in January. So, we've got 25 players there. Who's going to want to sign underperforming players? Now, I've seen a lot of comments about people going, yes, let's sell Tedamenji, let's sell Woodrow, let's get rid of Taylor because he's not got a future here at Luton, let's get rid of Elijah Adebayo. I've seen all these different types of comments. But realistically, how many players are going to leave? How many clubs are going to want our players? If they didn't leave in the summer, why are they going to leave in the January window? They're underperforming. You know, the best thing what should have happened is with some of these players is actually, despite not getting your move in the summer, I'm going to continue to play well because I know I get my move in January or at the end of the season. And they haven't really done it. So what could actually end up happening is Luton are going to be in a situation where we can't get rid of anyone. So we might not actually bring players in because we can't get rid of anyone. So we might be in a situation where we have to maybe have a squad of 28 players, but 3 of those players end up missing out because we can only include 25 players in our squad for the season. It's a problem, and we're going to have to try and find a way of addressing it. And if I'm running the football club, you know what? If we can't get rid of the players, I would still bring in players anyway. We can't risk waiting around for a club to sign Woodrow, who's not got a future here at Luton, in my opinion. So we're going to have to sign someone and then just be honest with some of these players and go, look, you're not going to get included in the 25-man squad. We recommend you find a club. Otherwise, you're not going to play any football. Some players don't want to do that. Some players may go, you know what, I'll just take the money and sit on the bench or sit at home. So it's a problem, a big problem. And lastly, the fifth problem which Luton are going to face, and that is, it's just difficult to do business in January. It really is. Clubs do not want to let go of their best players. It's harder to replace your best players once they do go. The players that are actually available to sign it's just a small minority, and you're going to have a lot of competition. So if there's a Premier League player, for example, that's been given permission to go out on loan to the Championship, there ain't going to be one club after him. There's going to be quite a few. So in terms of our negotiations, we've got to be really aggressive and we've got to be proactive with it. Because if we're slow, clubs will just come in and take, and that'll be it. we'll miss out on players. So it's going to be tough. It's so hard. And we're put a lot of pressure on ourselves to have a good window, because we didn't have a good window in the summer. You know, the art of football, if you get your transfer windows correct, most of the time you will have a good season. But, of course, Luton, I don't think we got it right. I don't think we have. So, it's going to be tough. But it's up to Luton and the board, the recruitment team, to fix it. We've added a new staff member to our recruitment team, so we have strengthened in that particular department. What have they learned? Have they been scouting good players from the start of the season till now? Hopefully they've found a few good ones in, and we can bring those types of players in January. But there is a lot of pressure. In a future video, I will be telling you what players I feel like Luton need to recruit in. No, what positions Luton need to find players to recruit in is what I'm trying to say. I feel like there is one or two areas in particular which we have to strengthen in this January window to give us any chance of actually being competitive in the Championship for the rest of the season. But yeah, as I've already mentioned plenty of times, there's a lot of pressure. Drop a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video, which I don't know what it's going to be, if I'm being honest with you, but I'll find and I'll figure out what it could be. But I'll see you guys tomorrow.